Hiya, it's B, and I'm on to share a deck interview spread of my Dust to Onyx second edition that I got last week, drawn by Courtney Alexandra. So this is my first ever deck interview spread, and I wanted to interview this deck so that it can introduce itself to me before I start working with it in the month of April. I think I'm going to use this deck to do an Instagram challenge of some sort. Okay, so I actually got the spread from Katie Flower's website, and it's a 7-card spread. So what I done was shuffle the deck and then took the first 7 cards from this spread, from the deck, from the top of the deck, and then I placed each card in the 7 positions outlined in Katie's spread. Okay, so let's crack on. So position 1, which is the first card, is this one, and this is the 2 of Gourds, sometimes known as the 2 of Cups. And the question that I want to ask the deck is, what are you here to teach me? So by looking at this card, I just think that there's a potential for me to build a strong spiritual relationship between myself and this deck. Okay, question number 2, or position number 2. The question is to my deck, describe yourself. And the card that came up is the Judgment card. And what I get from this is that Courtney says in her guidebook that this deck is a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, and I think this card is telling me that this deck is not going to be like the Rider-Waite system that I'm used to. I just feel that I may have to leave my previous ways of thinking behind and start again with this deck. Okay, so position 3 is the Sun card, and the question for that is, how do you as a deck see me as a reader? And it's really interesting that I pulled the Sun card, because the Sun card is actually my sun sign, Leo. I mean, well, I associate the Sun card with Leo. So I think this deck is telling me that as a reader, they see me full of creative energy and determination. Okay, position 4 of this spread is this card here. Let's lift it up. I have to move this forward. So position 4 of this spread is how can we work together? And the card that I've drawn out for that question is the Moon. Yeah, and I just feel that this card is telling me that I have to believe in this deck for me to be able to work with it. Okay, so position 5, which is this one, I just have to move it round. And the question that I'm asking my deck is, what are your strengths as a deck? And this is the Star card. And I think that this card is telling me, yeah, that my deck provides me as a reader with hope, even in the bleakest of situations. That's how I'm interpreting this card. Hope in the bleakest of situations. Okay, so position 6 is your weaknesses, and the card in that position is the Hermit. So this is I'm not quite sure whether this is the weaknesses in me or the weaknesses in the deck. I'm assuming it means the weaknesses in the deck. So how I'm interpreting this card is that I flipped through some of the cards in this deck, and I've got a feeling that this deck may be a bit of a challenge for me due to the redrawing of the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So I think that this card is telling me that you know, if I do find this deck a challenge, I must not give up, yeah, but instead take time away to do some inner reflection, maybe some research, and then come back to this deck with a fresh pair of eyes and start again. That's what I think this card is telling me. Okay, and then the final card, which is position 7, this one here. Let's bring it forward. The question for this position is, what is our potential together? So what's the potential of me and the deck when we work together? And this card here is the Shaman. Some people might know it as the High Priestess. So it looks like that I will have a connection with this deck. I feel like it will enhance my knowledge in tarot, intuition and psychic ability. That's what I'm getting from this card. Okay, so I think overall I'm going to be working well with this deck. In the description bar I will add a link to this deck interview spread that I used, and if I can find it. And I will also add a link to Courtney Alexandra's website. So on that website you'll see this deck, which is the Dusty Onyx deck. I think she has some deck covers, or deck cases, sorry, some notebooks with the same design on, and I think some tote bags. So thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me soon. Bye.